Hi, Joe. Merry Christmas.
Hey, Merry Christmas to you too.
How are you?
Like every other woman in the country at the moment, stressed because it's Christmas, but hopefully we'll talk about how we can de-stress ourselves. And for once, I might take some of my own advice.
Yep, definitely. So, we are actually here tonight to discuss Christmas and menopause. And when you said about doing this, I thought at the time, oh, well, what's there to discuss? And then went away, I had a little think about it and thought, oh my God, actually, yeah, I don't really associate everything going on with my menopause and then all the added pressure of Christmas. So, yeah, go for it because I've already had a massive epic fail already in the lead up to Christmas.
Yes. Well, as you well know, I've got a slide that talks about loads of stuff in terms of symptoms. And if we look at memory loss, forgetfulness, lack of concentration, forget brain fog, all of that's really going to cause havoc with the getting ready for Christmas. Because as women, and I know that's a bit sexist to say, but as women we have so many balls in the air, and we have even more, usually Christmassy tinkly ones, but we have so many balls in the air at the time of Christmas, and sometimes it's really difficult to juggle it literally all the time. And then you've got the physical symptoms of menopause: aches, pains, headaches, sweats and flushes and all of that. So it's really difficult to really get your head around it. So hopefully this evening we can do a few tips in terms of how to make it go a much more smooth process for everyone.
Yeah, it is pretty stressful because obviously our lives have changed quite a bit, and we're all working now, and a lot of us have sort of hit menopause age and have teenage children. So there's all those stresses and everything else that goes on with it.
Coming home from university, and that strange feeling that when you go out in the morning, the house is not in the same state when you come back home. Usually, if you had your children away at university for term time and you put something, or you put something down, then it's not there when you come back. Or it might even be that you emptied the dishwasher when you went out in the morning, and now there's all these dirty dishes appeared next to it. I always remember there's a gorgeous skit that Michael McIntyre said. He got in trouble with his wife, and he said, I don't, when you take your mug into the kitchen, Michael, put it in the dishwasher. Don't leave it by the dishwasher in the hope that it might work. And she replied, she replied to him, Michael, I don't put the chicken by the oven in the hope that it will get cooked. I actually have to put the chicken in the oven. So I think, that's one of the tips. Try and get everybody to work together as a team through menopause.
And I've been doing that because my daughter's just come home from college for the Christmas break, and I'm sending her messages during the day saying, could you unload the dishwasher? And I made a stew this morning in the slow cooker, and then halfway through the day, any chance you could stir the stew? Because I know it's good. And when I came home this evening, it was so funny. She did unload the dishwasher.
Good.
But I found a jug on the side. I found something else on the side. So it was obviously didn't quite know where in the kitchen these went. And I just had to take a moment, breathe, and go, okay, but I know she stirred the stew and she did do what I asked.
Wins, really. Little wins. And the more times you undo the dishwasher, the more likely you are to remember where to put the jug next time. So it's makes perfect, really.
So one of the things that we were discussing the other night that I'm struggling with. So we're working all day, we're extremely busy, headaches, I'm getting, not sleeping particularly well. All of this, what would you suggest? What were we discussing the other night that
Well, one of my big things, and the whole of my family tease me about this, is lists. And because I think if you actually have a list, then you don't have to hold it in your head anymore. And one of the things that I do is I actually have a piece of paper and a pen or my phone, because sometimes if we've got insomnia, we wake up in the night, we start making lists about what we've got to do. And I would start thinking, right, I've got 3 things. How am I going to remember those 3 things? I'll remember, oh, BED, bed. You know, this is bring this, enjoy this, or do that. The letters, I'm going to remember it. And of course, you never, ever do. So write it down. And once you've written it down, you don't have to have the stress of trying to remember it anymore. And that's, I do that more and more and more over Christmas. I have list categories, you know, presents to buy for staff, present to buy for family, food to buy, da-di-da-di-da. So make lists. And interestingly, I think the other thing is we should invite people to do things on our list for us, which is, you know, if you can, you know, delegate, that's really, really good and to improve things. And I think the other thing is, don't get stressed about it. Christmas is actually going to happen, and it will be 48 hours maximum. And just enjoy. And as you said to me earlier, let's do little wins. Let's enjoy the little things. Okay. Take time, enjoy yourself, do your lists. And it's really just, don't get in a panic, because it does happen far better than you actually think it's going to, really.
Yeah, so I've actually taken your advice on this Christmas. So
oh, good.
Obviously we're so busy. So again, my daughter's at home. We're working all day. So I'm probably the last person in the country not to have their Christmas tree up, but my daughter's going to put the Christmas tree up and decorate it. And she's going to wrap all my husband's and her brother's presents.
Excellent.
So
Excellent.
all I've got to do is wrap hers. So
who's wrapping yours, Sally?
Oh no, my husband's a 3 o'clock Christmas Eve. He says to the kids, "Come on, let's go," and off he trots with the list I've given my daughter, and gets the presents. A funny story: 2 years ago, he got to the counter and looked at my daughter and said, "Put it all back." She said, "Why, Dad?" He went, "I forgot my wallet. We need to go home."
Oh no, that's where you ought to give him a patch.
So I believe my daughter actually wraps mine, but it's usually last thing. But that delegation and just saying, you know what, we will, you know, we'll get there. And it's about sort of, you know, the family. It doesn't matter if the dinner's not on the table at the right time or the time you thought. Just take that time and breathe. So
breathe. I mean, that's really, really important. Just take time and pause, because it doesn't matter. And I think that more we put pressure on ourselves to achieve it, then we set ourselves up to fail. So don't put pressure on yourself. Take it in your stride. Don't drink too much. I mean, I know for a fact in the years when I've had family that I've got so stressed over Christmas, I've been sipping the wine as I've been doing Christmas lunch. And then I sat down and I thought, I don't really fancy this anymore. You know, and I'm a bit tipsy and it's not good. And you don't really feel as though you particularly enjoy it, and nobody else enjoys it really either. So pace yourself, have small amounts of alcohol. Just remember that the red alcohol isn't nice for a menopausal liver. Okay, so try to keep off the red wine, stick with your white wine. I'm all for champagne and prosecco, and of course Christmas is a time when we drink lots of bubbly things, but just remember those bubbles will catch the calcium. So, you know, do have your champagne if you want to, or your prosecco, but don't stick to that. Swap it for some white wine, because and it has less calories. Okay, don't drink your gin neat though. Do put some tonic in your gin. Is something that, you know, and the other thing is, try and drink plenty of water as well in between times, because that helps you, keeps you hydrated. And if we're really busy running about here, there and everywhere, we quite often are not drinking enough non-alcoholic fluid, rehydrating ourselves. So that can give us headaches, that can make us feel lethargic, and that can really play havoc with everything else. So remember just to drink water, have jugs of water on the table. One of the things I do when I'm in the kitchen and I'm really busy and here, there, everywhere, is I actually have a big jug, and I'm a lime cordial person, and I fill that, and then I keep topping it up, topping a glass through the jug, so I know that I've actually got through my litre of fluid, what have you. So that's quite easy to do. The other thing is just a tip. I found drinking water quite hard and my kids have nagged me for years. Is I don't like cold water. I don't like ice water, so that's why having a jug in the kitchen, it will get room temperature, and it's much easier to drink. Plus the fact it drink quicker if it's not cold. So that's one of the tips that I tend to do in terms to enable me to drink more fluids.
Okay. I drink loads of water and I like cold water, so that's fine. Yeah, fine for me. So the other thing is that we all start to worry about is food at Christmas. We start to think, oh, I'm not going to be able to eat anything. So then we stress out about that, and we don't sort of tend to treat ourselves with it. So what do you say with that?
I say eat what you want, basically, because in all fairness, Christmas doesn't last forever. So eat what you want. Just we're all very much aware of weight at the time of menopause, but if you're stressed out about not having that roast potato or not this, then just have it, but have don't deny yourself anything. Have your mince pie, don't have 3 mince pies. Just be aware of the calories that you're eating if you want to, but if you actually don't, then so what? It's not as though you're going on a binge fest for a fortnight.
Exactly.
So have what you want. I mean, I personally like Boxing Day better, and that's when I'm more likely to have my jacket potatoes and my bubble and squeak and all of that sort of stuff. But just let people help you and ask people to help you. Okay, so you can do things in advance. So you can do all your Brussels and all of that the night before. It's going to be absolutely fine. It will wait. So in terms of it can be done the night before. You can get everything prepared the night before, and just have a vague idea, a timeline as to when you might start to do things, but don't stick to it rigidly, because that's going to make you really stressed out. So just do it at a time. And I love Christmas Eve because I often used to have the fats when the family tend to come, and then you can get them to do jobs. You can sit and watch TV while you do the Brussels or whatever, and you can prepare things well in advance nowadays.
So we've had a lady.
Easy fix. Do those roast potatoes cooked from frozen in the freezer. Aunt Bessie's are fantastic. Don't make work, okay?
Yeah, don't make work.
No.
So I've had a question from Sonia. She's asking that if she nibbles late on Christmas Eve, does it matter if on one occasion I take Eutrogestin after eating?
No.
No.
Not at all. Doesn't matter.
Because it says that you have to wait 2 hours.
Yes, I know.
And I find that really difficult because, again, I work all day, and then in the evening I come home, and I find that within half an hour of taking my Eutrogestin, I'm yawning and wanting to go to sleep.
Because it helps you with sleep. It's sleep.
Yeah. It's I call it my sleeping tablet. That's it. I take that. I'm out. But it's never 2 hours after I've eaten.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you forget to take your Eutrogestin for 48 hours. You might have a bit of spotting, but it actually doesn't matter. Okay. Yes, we're all told you have to take Eutrogestin with your gel, your patch, or whatever, but it doesn't matter.
I actually find with myself now that if I don't take it, I can stay up longer. So during the work week, sort of about 9:30, I take it because I know by 10 o'clock I'm asleep because I get up so early for work, and I know I'm going to get my 7 hours is good, and I'm out. So yeah, that's what I find. I find Eutrogestin is a bit of a sleeping aid for me now. But if I don't take it, I can stay up longer. So Friday and Saturday night, I take it a little bit later.
Yeah.
So and eat your cheese. It's Christmas. We eat cheese is good.
Cheese is good. It's got calcium in it. It's good for your bones. Okay, so eat. I just say, just do what you want. Okay, it's just enjoy it. Don't stress about all these rules that doctors tell you have to follow. Just enjoy it. Okay, that's my biggest advice about menopause through Christmas. And not enjoy, well, you can enjoy your menopause because it's a nice time of life in so many ways, particularly if you're on HRT and it's well treated. But just enjoy time with your family because it is a precious time. And I know, particularly from a very personal experience, is that I'm going away with my family and my 95-year-old father this year to the Caribbean for Christmas, and we are making memories. And I think that, and that's not me just dropping that in to make you all feel awful, but but basically what you do is we make memories. And I think because you've got a lot of people, often in a smaller house, and there's loads of people around, and families that don't necessarily live together, you can fire off each other. And if anybody starts getting a bit nudgy, menopausal mums, teenage kids coming home from university, not tidying up because other people are coming around, just take yourself away from it all with a small glass of Sauvignon Blanc, okay? And just go upstairs, and if necessary, sit in the bathroom with the door shut. That's taking breathe. Just remove yourself. It'll happen.
So, we've had another lady ask, any tips other than meds to help manage the at times crippling anxiety and nausea that she's experiencing with her perimenopause?
Well, there's lots of. I mean, I think what I've always said is that if your symptoms are due to estrogen deficiency, they will go with estrogen replacement. But crippling tiredness and anxiety can be symptoms that are related to an awful lot of things. So you mustn't just assume that it is perimenopause. So it is important to touch base with your doctor and look at that. Okay, I think it's not in terms of meds, and when you mean meds, does that mean HRT? There's lots of other things that you can do which are homeopathic to help you. So with anxiety, so you can take breathe, relax, take yourself out for a walk, all of those sort of things which are stress relievers. Remove yourself from the stressful situation, okay? And not drink, to cut down on your caffeine. You must remember that alcohol is in actual fact a mood depressant. So if you drink too much, you can end up getting depressed with it. So moderate your alcohol. Don't drink far too much. So you're trying to cook Christmas dinner with a house full of people that you don't know, with a hangover that you've got from Christmas Eve, particularly if it's a hangover from red wine, is not an easy thing to do. So do moderate your alcohol intake, which is, I think, is really important. And that, because that can also cause anxiety if you don't feel well.
Okay, so this lady is saying that she's actually already on HRT, and I can't say it's cyclic progesterone. You can say that. It means she's cyclic. Yes, yes.
So if your anxiety, so it depends on where you are if you're taking that cyclical HRT, suggests that you take it for 2 weeks, estrogen alone, and then you take 2 weeks of estrogen and progesterone. And it depends if your anxiety is.
So can I just 1 second? Sorry,
Yeah.
This is a brain fog moment. I've just noticed my wardrobe door is open, and you can all see the mess and chaos that's in my wardrobe. I've got to close it. It's one of our moments, Joe. It wouldn't be well.
You're just human, Sally. That's all that it takes. It doesn't matter. It shows that we are. Last time you couldn't hear me because I hadn't got my volume turned up. This time you've got. It just proves that we're doing it live, and it just proves that we are normal people. So if you find that when you're on your oral progesterone, your cyclical progesterone, which you take, which is utrogestan, which you take 2 weeks out of, and you're taking it orally, then you can try using it vaginally. Okay, and it's exactly the same pill, capsule. You literally, without putting too fine a point, it just stuff it up there. It doesn't need to be in the right place. Just take it vaginally. And if you are getting a bit of side effects from your cyclical progesterone, such as headaches or sometimes a bit of increased anxiety, then being very simple, you just move it from your mouth 2 feet south to the vagina, and it removes it from the anxiety.
The other thing I found when I was getting crippling anxiety, I did a breathing technique as
Yeah.
well, which really helped. And I would just sit on the side of the bed, close my eyes, and just concentrate on my breathing. And
And
I
focus
found
it. Yeah. I
just
would,
focused on it, and it really, really helped calm me down.
particularly if you remove yourself from the situation, if you can feel that anxiety beginning to, don't wait until it's got to a point where you can't control it. If you feel that anxiety is beginning to, just take yourself out of the situation for a couple of minutes. Do those breathing techniques. I use certainly think apps that you can download, such as Headspace and Calm. They have good little techniques about breathing and a bit of meditation, and that gives you just 2 minutes. And I was really skeptical. I thought, how the hell can I feel calm? Because I just went into another room and breathe deeply for 2 minutes. And I thought, well, okay, let's give it a go. And it actually does work. So that's
It
really,
really does.
really important.
We've had another lady message. She's a week post-op from a hysterectomy.
Yeah.
But I have to wait until histology comes back before I can think about HRT. Should I arrange HRT with my GP or wait until I have some symptoms?
No, book your getting appointments into your GP is weeks in advance. Okay, so what you said you've had a hysterectomy, so that doesn't suggest. Does that mean you've had your ovaries removed or not? Okay, because if you've just had a hysterectomy and your ovaries are still there, that doesn't mean to say you're going to be menopausal. If you've had a hysterectomy, removal of the womb, and your ovaries removed, that will have made you menopausal. You're absolutely right to wait for the histology. Okay, histology is when doctors look down the cells and make sure that it's all okay. So you should do that. But even if it's a what we call a cancer of the lining of the womb, an endometrial cancer, but that's been removed, then that doesn't mean to say that you can't have HRT. So at the moment, booking appointments with GPs are 3 to 4 weeks ahead, or telephone appointments, particularly in the Christmas period. So your histology is going to be back before then. So make that appointment now so that you've got time for the histology to arrive, but you can be off at the starting gate.
So she had her ovaries removed.
Right. Well, in that case, on the assumption that histology is fine, and it depends on what did she have her hysterectomy for? Okay. Do we know, was it
No.
fibroids, or was it for something like endometrial cancer, or heavy bleeding? So it can be any one of those things. If you've had your hysterectomy for endometriosis, heavy bleeding, all that sort of stuff, then you should be able to start your estrogen straight away. And of course, you don't need progesterone if you've had a hysterectomy. And estrogen alone is safe for life. No increased risk of breast cancer at all whatsoever.
Yeah, it was. I hope you don't mind me saying, but she's put it's a large borderline ovarian tumor. So,
okay, well, thank you for sharing that. But I would suggest that it's probably going to be fine. But make that appointment. Your GP should get the histology. What I would suggest is that when you make your appointment, you actually say, I'm waiting to have the histology. And if there's any concern about your GP being worried about starting you on some estrogen, then ask to be referred to a menopause specialist.
now I've got a question, and I was asked this last summer by my friend, who I believe is watching, when I went on holiday. I'm on estrogen, and I put it on my thighs, and I put it on my outer arms. And they said, do you not put it on your inner arms? And I said, oh, I was told not to. Then the next thing was, oh, is that because of breast cancer? And I said, well, no, I don't believe so. But is it on the outer arms, or can we do it on the inner arms, or how does that work?
Right. Well, the first thing, ideally, it's on the inner thighs because that's where it's better absorbed. Okay. I tend to say you can just put it on the top of your arms. It's got nothing to do with breast cancer because estrogen gel is not associated with breast cancer. It doesn't protect you. Well, there's evidence suggesting that it might possibly, but you have to remember there is a background risk of breast cancer. So if you drink more than 2 units a day and you're overweight, you're more likely to get breast cancer. Okay, so you have to, those are the factors. You won't get breast cancer because you've taken estrogen alone HRT. Okay, you're going to get breast cancer because that was in your genes, and it's in your lifestyle choices: smoking, drinking, being overweight, da 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 da. But but if you're on 4+ squirts of estrogen gel, then you tend to run out of body to smear it on, because you can't rub 2 squirts in the same place. So ideally, yeah, and you mustn't rub it in. That's the other thing about estrogen gel. You mustn't be doing this, rubbing it in like that. Basically, you need to smear it on, smooth it on, and it does take about 10 minutes to dry. So and you mustn't go swimming, jacuzziing, showering, anything like that for 2 hours afterwards. So if you're on lots of spurts of estrogen gel, then it might be worth thinking, is it worth swapping to a patch or a spray?
Okay. All right. So I think we've done quite a bit this evening. What we're going to do now is I'm going to put up your top tips.
Yep.
So
Okay.
here we go. So these are Joe's top tips. Go on, Joe. You take it away.
Okay. Well, take time for yourself. Relax. Do a bit of exercise. Okay. So, and you probably don't get much exercise on Christmas Day, but Boxing Day, leave the jacket potatoes in the oven, walk to the local pub, have a drink, and when you come back, it's ready, because all you need to do is just slice off the bits of turkey, put your pickles on the table, and have a jacket potato, and you've done your exercise. And it's not a big deal if everything is not perfect, because people remember the good things. They don't remember the things that didn't go quite right. And find the joy in the little things. So find the joy in the fact that the family are all there. Find the joy in that you've got time with perhaps elder members of your family that are becoming increasingly frail. Make those memories, okay? And take some videos of you all just all around the table. Make those memories. Always invite people to help you. There's a world of difference between saying, do this, and being directional. Then why are you telling me what to do? It would be really nice if you could help me just do this. Okay, so that can come across in, we're working together, we are a team, it all happens. Sip on the alcohol rather than glug it. Okay, and sometimes if you're getting stressed, it's very quick to knock it back. So sip on your alcohol, and eat when you want. Eat what you want, eat when you want. Sleep, okay? Try and get a good night's sleep in. You don't have to stay up all night if the kids are downstairs partying, all right? Be merry, and whatever you do, don't forget your HRT. That's my biggest tip, okay? Don't forget to take it. A quick one to remember, and I can't remember what days Christmas Eve is, but if you're on patches, I used to find it really difficult to remember when to change my patch. So I used to change it on Wednesdays and weekends, because they're 2 W's. So that's much easier to remember.
So obviously from us, we're going to do another one of these in January, where we've got some exciting news. If you're following our Facebook page, you will know that we've just taken on a consultant physiotherapist who will be discussing with us in January about moving through a menopause. We thought it was a good time. Everyone wants to get fit in January, that New Year's Eve resolution that this is going to be the year. So we've got Sam Hobson going to be joining us in January for our next live, so we can discuss what is it he calls it, I can never say these words, Joe.
He calls it musculoskeletal system and menopause, and because at the time of the menopause we don't have as much collagen, and therefore Sam calls it not menopause, keep moving, and I think that's one of Sam's phrases. So he can help us what exercises to do, if our joints are aching, what we can do. It doesn't mean to say that you have to run a marathon. Walking upstairs, for starters, is burning more calories than taking a lift.
So if you follow us on Facebook or Instagram, I'll put an announcement out when that will be, so you can come and join us again, and we'll discuss. Oh, we've just had a message today from someone saying thank you for her appointment today. She had 20 years of feeling rubbish. This amazing lady has been my lifesaver through my
Oh,
menopausal symptoms. God bless.
oh, thank you so much.
Do you know what? This lady has also been my lifesaver, because I was a menopause mess 18 months ago, and now I have learned so much. So I really do hope you enjoy watching our live videos. And as I say, join us next month. I will be putting out over the Christmas period when we'll be doing our next live. And every month we will do a live with a different theme behind it. So really now, all there's left to say from us, from the Menopause Consortium and Joe, is we'd just like to wish you all a very merry menopause Christmas.
And a healthy new year.
Healthy new year. And we will see you. Oh, another lady's put mine too. I'm loving this. She is the most amazing lady. We love Dr. Joe. But
thank you so much.
For us tonight, we just like to say have a really lovely Christmas, everyone, from Joe and myself. Joe will be in the Caribbean. I'm going to be here in the cold with the rest of you. And we'll see you in 2023. Everyone have a lovely Christmas. Take care, everyone. Bye.